Hi, I'm Multimuse and welcome back to another video. Once again, the lovely people over at Arrtx have sent me one of their products to review for you guys. So today I am reviewing the Arrtx Oros sketch markers. This is the set of the 66 pastel alcohol markers that I am so excited to try. Now I'm going to start off with talking about the packaging. The box itself is honestly really pretty and really presentable as well. I love the purple color and how fun it feels to open up. This is where I feel like Arrtx's packaging really stands out from most other art brands, as it's always doing the most whilst not being over the top and, you know, in your face. Every time that I've reviewed Arrtx products, I've always really loved how functional the packaging is. I like that when you rest the box on the lid, like when it's open, it becomes like this pen display stand that really nicely presents all the markers, and it's like easy to grab them and put them back in when you're working. This is my favorite feature that the packaging has. Not only that though, the box also has a strap on it to make it easy to take with you if you want to use the markers out and about. Though I'm not sure what the material of the strap is, I will say it does feel pretty nice. Now let's move on to the contents of the box. When you first open up the box, you're greeted with a little thank you card, which is always appreciated. I always stick that into my sketchbook when I first use the products. I think it's really cute when brands do stuff like that. They also include a swatch sheet, which is always wonderful, but instead of using that, I'm just going to be swatching directly into my sketchbook. And then of course, there are the alcohol markers. Now, they don't come organized, which I find a little bit strange, but yeah, I just had to organize it myself, which I found to be a little bit frustrating, but you know, it adds that element of like interactiveness, I guess. First impressions about these markers are they are gorgeous, and I can only hope that they match the color on the lid. After swatching, I can say that the colors don't match the lid, but they're not too far off. The most important thing to me when I was swatching these colors was that they are actually pastel. I have bought pastel markers from different brands before, and they have actually never once been pastel. They have always been really saturated and just too bright. They could never really pass off as pastel. So swatching these was actually such a fun experience to see the colors actually be soft and light. So I don't really have any complaints about the colors other than the black marker, because obviously that's not pastel, but I obviously understand why they include that one, because it's like the most frequently used color, especially for like line art. Let's talk about the actual markers themselves. Instead of the barrel of the marker being a cylinder, it is actually a triangular prism, which is really comfortable to hold and feels more sturdy in my hand compared to like the traditional cylinder shape. But that also could just be down to the material of the markers. It's a very like soft plastic. It feels very nice. The quality feels really good as well. It doesn't feel cheap. I have used the Arrtx Oros alcohol markers before, so I already like know that I really like them, and they actually have become my favorite alcohol markers just because of how good they are and how nice they feel and how nice they are to work with. These markers have two different nibs. They have a chisel nib on one side and a brush nib on the other side. I use both sides in this video a few times, and I can say that the chisel nib lays flat completely, so it's always getting the exact coverage that you expect, and the brush tip feels very nice. It's not too soft but also not too firm. You can get really thick lines and you can get really thin lines if you're careful. The actual lids of the markers have a really cute little flowery design on them, which makes them look really cute. I just thought that I should mention that because it's a really nice touch. Another thing about these markers that you will see in this video is that they blend so lovely. They blend together just so smoothly. You will see it especially when I am coloring the banana shark, but yeah, the colors just blend amazingly, and I just feel so like in control. Although that's a little silly to say, I feel so in control when I'm using these markers. They're just so fun to use. I would like to mention though, if you are wanting to do portraits with these markers, I would say invest in some like skin tone markers, because there really aren't that many skin colors apart from like the really light beige ones. But yeah, I am super excited for you to see the full potential of these markers as the video goes on. Of course, me being the shark lover that I am, I just had to draw sharks in this video. I decided to make these sharks fruit inspired. So that first one that I'm currently drawing is actually a dragon fruit shark, and I wish that I could have made it more similar to a dragon fruit. I feel like I should have put more of the green leafy things all over its body rather than just like on the edges of what we can see, because right now it's just giving like basic. I feel like I could have done more with it. But at the same time, I'm not too mad because I still liked the outcome. I thought it was super cute, and I want to turn all of the sharks on this page into stickers. I think that would be really fun. Now, this next one is a banana shark, and I actually really love how it turned out. I wasn't sure what kind of extra things to draw onto the shark, since bananas are quite smooth. Like they're not that interesting to look at apart from the colors, so I just kind of left it up to the colors to make it look like a banana. And then of course I had to include a strawberry shark because I just love to make them squishy looking. I think they look so silly. And then the tail is like the stem and the leaves of the strawberry. I honestly had so much fun sketching all of these out, and even more fun coloring them in with the pastel markers. Before Arrtx had reached out to me to ask if they could send me these markers, I had actually really wanted them. Like, I'd always be looking on their website, just like seeing the pastel markers and being like, oh, I really want these. So I am so grateful to actually have them sent to me. Now, looking at the Arrtx website, these markers are £62.92, which means you are paying 95p per marker. I think that these markers are absolutely worth the price tag, but these aren't that budget friendly. So I would recommend these to people who can comfortably spend that amount of money on art supplies. They do also have alternatives, as when I'm looking on their website, they currently have the Alp version, which does not have a brush nib and instead is just like a little bullet nib of 40 pastel markers for £43.67. I also believe that Arrtx does sales on their website from time to time, so I would say to keep an eye out for that, because these are definitely markers worth getting if you are interested in getting any kind of marker. I would really recommend these. I would also really love to see Arrtx selling these markers individually. I would definitely be picking up colors that I love. I feel like people would really benefit from being able to buy them individually, especially if it's a beloved marker that runs out before the rest of the markers in the set, it just saves, you know, having to buy the entire set again or waiting and not being able to use that marker. When it came to actually using these pens, of course, I had a wonderful time with them. They're so smooth and there's just so much ink in them. These being really juicy pens makes it really easy to blend with. Honestly, the blending with these is just seamless. I love blending with them, they're so fun. I'm also somebody who likes to use the chisel nib as well. I just think it's really good when covering large spaces. And honestly, I've used markers where the chisel nib will feel like it's fading and just running out really quick compared to the other side, whether it's the bullet nib or the brush nib. But with these markers, they always feel just as juicy. So it doesn't matter which side you're using, they're still gonna have lots of ink. But yeah, if you couldn't tell already, I am a big fan of these markers. Before colouring in the sharks, I would colour in the fruit that I had drawn beside them as like a little tester of how I was going to colour the sharks later on. And with the dragon fruit, I obviously did the individual segments, so like the actual dragon fruit itself was like this pinkish red, and then the leaves were like this really nice green. And I was thinking about ways to like blend them into one another without like actually blending. And I just put the pinkish color on top of the green, like where it comes out of the dragon fruit, and I just thought that looked really nice. So I decided to layer the colors the same on the shark, as I really liked it on the dragon fruit. And once again, I really wish that I had put more green leaves on the body of the shark rather than just on the edge of what we see. But I will say I really like the shape that I gave the leaves. They're so like, they're almost like seaweed. When I was coloring this, I was like, this kind of looks like seaweed. But it's okay, it does end up looking like a dragon fruit in the end. Part of me really wishes that I had colored the shark like the inside of the dragon fruit, because I think that would have been so much fun to like incorporate that into something. But my mind just kept going to like, if I did that, then I would have to like open up the shark in a way, like give it like some kind of like scar that like shows you the inside or something, or like split it down the middle like sushi, which actually now seems like a really good idea, but I just, at the time, it felt really morbid and I didn't want to do that because I wanted these to be really cute. But I feel like I could definitely incorporate that kind of like sushi aspect, like just having the shark like cut down the middle or something and just showing that it's like the dragon fruit insides in a cute way and make it not look evil. I don't know, I still have to think about it, but I think I could make it work. It just sounds really weird to say out loud, but I've got the vision in my head. I loved using this pink color. It's so pretty, and it's like more of like a coral kind of color. I feel like all the colors in this set would make for a really lovely underwater scene. I feel like I should probably try that at some point. I just hope I can do it justice. But yeah, I think, I don't know, it was really pleasant. This color's so cute and it looks just like my iPad case. So maybe that's why I like it so much. All of these sharks also had the color green in them, so because of the range of colors, I was able to choose 3 different greens, so I wasn't making it exactly the same. Because the last thing I want is to like do a marker review and then just use the same one shade of green for each drawing. I think something worth mentioning so that you don't get confused at the end is that I only kept the marker bits in this video, so you won't see me using pencils or anything else. I'm literally just using the markers, and then off camera to finish the drawing I used pencils to just refine it. And you can actually see me using the pencils in my reels, or what's it called, YouTube shorts. Yes. So yeah, hopefully that's not confusing when it skips to the end when I'm showing the completed drawings and it's all like, you know, it looks a little different to what I've kept in the video. I was a little worried that this shark would be too simple, considering it just had like 3 colors and nothing that special compared to like the other 2 sharks, where one of them has like a leaf tail and then the other one has like these leaves coming out of its body. But honestly, this ended up being my favorite shark. I just think the colors looked so good together. Something I regret about this specific banana that I'm drawing is the green. I should not have brung it down so much because it just looks so weird now. But it's okay. It's okay. The shark makes up for it. I also wanted to add browns into this shark because I think that would have been more realistic and more cute. But because this set didn't have any browns, I couldn't, and I really wanted to stick to the pastels without bringing anything else, since this is a review video. Now I'm using my beloved chisel tip, and look at the coverage that it gets. I feel like more people should use it because I don't think it gets enough love. You can do so much with the chisel tip. It's so good. Not only is it good for like blocking out big areas, it's also just good for when you want lines and angles and all that kind of stuff, you know, the stuff that you can't do with brush nibs really. But yeah, use the chisel nib more. It's there for a reason. At least just like experiment. You can get some really funky shapes if you just like move it around on the page. And I can't lie, it's also really good for blending too. I feel like not many people would expect the chisel nib to be good at blending, but it really is. Like, I have done it so many times, especially if you want to get like a big area blended out, then it's like perfect for that. If you're worried about not being able to control the chisel nib, then I would suggest outlining whatever it is that you want to color with the brush tip first, and then use the chisel nib just inside of that, and it works perfectly. That's what I personally love to do when I feel like I need a little bit more precision and accuracy. I also think that these pens layer really nicely on top of one another. For example, this green layers beautifully over this yellow. It just looks so gorgeous. I'm also really sorry about the shaking in this video. I didn't realize that my sketchbook was touching the tripod, so obviously when I was coloring and blending, I'm trying to be really quick with it, so yeah, it was shaking the tripod, and I'm very sorry about that. So I felt like the shark was still a little bit too simple, so I decided to add green to the fins as well, and I think this added a really nice touch. Then it was time to colour in the strawberry shark. Now this one was really cute. I have experimented with drawing sharks as strawberries before, but I think this one definitely turned out the best. And of course, because this also needs pink and green, I decided to use a different shade of pink compared to the dragon fruit one, and a different shade of green, so it's not too repetitive. I love how flat that these markers lay. They are just so nice, and I feel like I didn't really need to add any shading or anything. I felt like the illustration was pretty much complete the way that I had left it. I think that the strawberry shark was the simpler one out of all the sharks to color in, just because it needs like 2 colors and I didn't need to do any blending since I was just gonna leave it and go in with yellow acrylic markers for the seeds. I was also really proud of how the leaf tail looked. It looks so like flowy. Makes me really happy to look at it because it's just so cute. And with that final shark done, I can now show you the results. I am so proud of this page. It's honestly one of my favorites that I've done in a while. I love the colors and I love these markers. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Arrtx. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Tell me what you think, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye!